Charlie Kirk, who's like the owner, founder of Turning Point USA. He's a conservative. I'm sure you know who he is. He gets cornered by Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur at the Democratic National Convention, the DNC, where all the demons are hanging out this run right now. And they kind of get into a debate about Trump, and I thought this would be fun to react to with you guys. By the way, make sure you like today's video, subscribe to the channel because I post 2 new videos every single day, hustling right now, and we'll get right into it.
I want to go back to Trump because you said that you're not in touch with the Democratic base. I kind of feel the same way about the Republican base, right? Okay, so this is what I want to understand because, you watch the media and sometimes I wonder, am I just buying what they're selling? Is this reality? And what they're selling is that Trump is flailing. Trump is really struggling in campaigning against Kamala Harris, and he's really not helping himself by saying things that turn a lot of voters off. Right? Remember, the election comes down to the independent voters, the swing voters. Those are the people who end up being the kingmakers, the deciders of the election. And he can't stop himself from attacking her on her looks, calling her stupid,
And that's what we love about Trump. That's the kind of Trump I want to see more of, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree. Are you like one of these independent, annoying voters that get so turned off? Like the suburban housewives, you know what I'm talking about? They get so offended by things that Trump says. I cannot stand those people, okay? I like offensive humor. I like making jokes. That's who I am. So that's like my favorite part of Donald J. Trump. Comment down below what your favorite part about Trump is, or if you like him or not.
things that turn a lot of independent voters off, right? But how does the Republican base feel about it? Like, are they eating it up? Do they love it? Or do they want him to go back to a more economic populist message?
They're definitely resolutely behind him. There is a different way to look at it, though. The question is, will independents decide the election? Because you can also run up the score with your base, which Democrats have proven you could do that in certain elections. And I think you guys would agree, if you have a strong base and you're, for example, getting 60% turnout in a strong county, get 75% turnout, it's actually sometimes easier. But that doesn't, you're right. You do have at least 10 to 15% in the swing states of tilt swing independent voters. I think that the media is misrepresenting. I think Trump's had a fine couple weeks. It hasn't been the best for the campaign, largely because the headwinds have been so dramatic. I think he's at his best when he is making the argument that I am against the establishment that has robbed you. Whether you guys agree with it or not, I know you don't. But I'm saying he's at his best when he makes this argument that the establishment has been robbing you, that this power regime has been lying to you, and I am an insurgent against those things. That is
a very popular message. I agree.
Yeah, my advice to him is be the renegade you were in 2016, because fair or unfair, I think it's fair to present this argument that the power centers have consolidated against your campaign in record ways, and he has a sentencing hearing in September, which will definitely play into his argument that they don't want me to be president, so they're willing to use unusual ways to try to prevent me from being president. And so, yeah, look, as far as the month of August, I think from his perspective, he's like, I beat one candidate, now I have to beat another. He had the debate with Joe Biden. He saw this thing happening, and he realizes right now that he's going to have, in a compressed time frame, a very, very competitive race, where against Joe Biden, I don't think it would have been very competitive at this time. This convention would have been not good.
Charlie, here's the thing. Again, totally agree that if you run against the establishment, that's your best chance, right? And I think that before, I got a sense that people love Trump for Trump on the MAGA side. Now I get a sense that there's even a splinter group that says, I actually don't love Trump, but I love that he's fighting the establishment, and I hate the establishment so much, I'm going to vote for Trump, right? But he hurts his cause massively when he's constantly pleasuring donors on stage at rallies. When he says
pleasuring donors on stage during rallies? What kind of weird sexual thing are you talking about, Cenk? By the way, Cenk, just so you know, Cenk has said that if he were to become dictator, he would legalize bestiality. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Not kidding. Maybe I'll insert the clip here. I don't know how much time I have to edit this, but Cenk is a weirdly sexual and perverted man. That's all I gotta say. He's freaking strange. What do you mean he's pleasuring donors? How?
oh yeah, I was against electric vehicles, but now Elon Musk is strongly endorsing me, meaning giving me $90 million, right? Yeah, and it might be more than that. So now I love electric vehicles.
I will give Trump some credit. If you listen to his Twitter space, he was they had a back and forth. They were talking more at each other than with each other. But he still says he doesn't believe in the electric vehicle mandate, to be fair, right? He doesn't believe in the subsidies for electric vehicles. So, I mean, I'm sure there's other examples you could list, but look, politics is never going to be pure as much as we'd like it to be. But I think that President Trump has done a very good job of having this economic populist message. And the other message that needs to be talked about, which I think is the Achilles heel of the Democrat Party, where Bernie Sanders used to actually have a great position on, is immigration. And the vast majority of this country thinks that we have too many people coming into the country too quickly in an unvetted way. And the economic populism one, Kamala Harris, I said this on my show, she has put the Republicans on defense. I think her policies are insane, to be honest. We could debate that, but might be not a good use of our time. I think her policies are insane, but they're very popular. They're very popular to say, I'm going to make it easier for you to buy a home. I'm going to, make grocery prices more affordable. I think price controls are a bad idea. But immigration is a very difficult issue for the Democrats. It's very difficult for them to navigate because the body politic thinks that we have too many people coming into this country. And I think President Trump needs to lean into that.
So, sorry, just real last thing on the donors. I hear you on immigration.
No, more examples. I'm happy to.
Yeah. But so, you got Elon Musk, you got the oil companies where he just keeps saying, hey, look, they're giving me money and we should drill, baby, drill, and all this stuff. He just can't help himself from being obvious. But the number one, like the one that I'm curious as to your take, Miriam Adelson. So when he's saying, hey, I gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, first of all, she's a donor. Why'd you give her the Presidential Medal of Freedom? That's terrible, right? And that's better than the Medal of Honor. That's a disaster, right? So what do you make of that? Like, are you bothered that he's saying those things?
No, I'm not. I mean, he's pro-Israel. He's pro-Israel, and he's not going to share your views on that. But yeah, I mean, he was pro-Israel throughout his presidency. What you're getting at is he pro-Israel because of donor money? I don't believe that.
And do you think you should have given the Medal of Freedom?
Yes, he is. I mean, let's be honest. The donor money contributes a lot to why certain people are so pro-Israel, including Charlie Kirk, because, the pro-Israel lobby, these are the mega donors for Turning Point USA. And I think Charlie Kirk, he's come a long way. He's been saying a lot of great things when he adopts a lot of the statements that Nick Fuentes says. That's when Charlie Kirk shines. But he will never criticize Israel because it's Israel donors who support his entire company. So he cannot. Same with Trump. It's like you can't be an elected politician and not support Israel these days. You literally cannot.
To Miriam Adelson?
I don't have a strong opinion on that. I think he gave it to her also because of her philanthropy. I could be wrong. I mean,
philanthropy towards Trump.
Look, I mean, Cenk, she did give billions of dollars to like children's hospitals, stuff like that. I mean, while we're at it, I mean, actors and actresses get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, right? Like Tom Hanks got the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Like legitimary ones. And I guess if legendary donors now are getting
give a couple $1 billion to like children's hospitals and stuff, like a couple billion. I mean, we go through the list of people who get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Sometimes it's not exactly the criteria that you're making it out to.
Right, but the last part of that, first of all, I disagree with all that. I think she got it 100% because she's a donor, but that's okay. But I mean, you guys stake your so much ground on we love veterans, etc. And then when he makes it seem like the Medal of Honor is no big deal, it's a disaster for you, isn't it?
I'm happy to go through it. I actually don't know exactly what he said. So yeah, I'm happy to respond to it. So
right. I want to pivot to VP picks because it does appear that JD Vance was a bit of a risky pick for Donald Trump. And I get why he chose JD Vance. I get the strategy behind it, trying to appeal to the Rust Belt voters. And also Trump was more confident, thinking that he's running against Joe Biden. Do you think now in retrospect, Trump made a bad decision?
I think it was a great decision. I think that he was maybe expecting a little bit of a honeymoon as a VP and he received a hurricane. He unearthed some, clips from my show and others about the childless cat stuff, which we could talk about, but I think there's more interesting stuff to discuss. But yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks, I think he's been on point. He went on the Sunday News show to his great credit. And Cenk, you pressed me on the donor thing. I'll press you on one thing. You say that Kamala didn't do a sit-down interview because she didn't get her economic plan. I mean, she is the sitting VP. She could take some questions, right?
No, I totally agree.
You got it.
She should have been doing the interviews, even if she didn't have all that stuff ready to go.
You got to talk to the press if you're the candidate, right? Even if you don't have your plans together. But to JD's credit, he sat down with 3 Sunday shows on one day, and I thought he handled it masterfully. I thought he handled it beautifully. I could tell you what I'm hearing from Republicans that don't love Trump, because there are Republicans out there that don't love Trump. JD Vance is a very sophisticated, smart, and appealing candidate to many of them. that are making it more even comfortable vote for Trump right now. And yeah, look, we're going to see what ends up happening. We've had a lot of coverage around vote both VPs. I think Walz was an awful choice. I think Shapiro would have been far better. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Just looking at it from a Pennsylvania standpoint, we were like, please don't pick Shapiro. Please don't pick Shapiro. And anyway, and I'm sure you guys feel the same about Vance, right? You were like, please pick somebody else or pick Rubio or whatever.
I thought,
but
Vance was an interesting choice.
It's a regional pick where definitely in the Rust Belt. Let me also say this. You guys have written books before and published books, I'm sure. JD Vance has JD Vance has sold over 1 million copies of his book since the VP. Now that's not about enrichment. That's 1 million voters that are coming in contact with your story. The Netflix special has been top 5 since it's been announced.
All right, I'm getting sick of this conversation. I'm done. I'm getting sick of this. You know what? I think that Cenk and Ana are going to try to find any reason to criticize Donald Trump and then come against anyone who supports Donald Trump, of course. Charlie, I don't think is doing the best job at defending Trump. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you next time. Bye.